Hello. Hope you are doing well, folks. Can you hear me well? I know the sound might be slightly different than usual. I'm on my laptop at the moment. So with the webcam, it's a laptop webcam. All right. Hope you are doing well, folks. I apologize in advance. I'm going to cough a lot. I'm super duper sick following IAMAG. My voice is broken. My nose is a fountain. So bear with me, okay? And of course, there is construction work starting just when I do the stream. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is going to be a weird stream. I hope the construction work is not going to be too bothersome. It's outside of my control. I'm not home at the moment. So, yeah. All right. Let's go. I was supposed to do a live on feedback regarding the preparatory module homework, but there is not enough submission yet, so I prefer to postpone it by next week. This way we have a bit more material to deal with. I'm super sick. I didn't have the time to prepare anything, so you know what? Portfolio review. Oh, you hear me only in the left here? Oh. Oh, let me try to fix that. Uh, is it working now? Is it good? Should be good. Okay. Yeah, sorry. It was not in mono. My apologies. So it means that all the recording I have done for the mentorship recently were with that problem. I love that. Anyways, this is a random stream. Oh my god, listen to that. Hopefully the mic doesn't catch that. But there is a tremendous amount of noise outside. I love it. Anyways, portfolio review time. Let's go. You know the drill. Let me hide my face. I'm looking like shit at the moment because I'm so fucking sick. I have fever. Here we go. Let's go. I picked a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be enough. We have a bit of context. We can't hear the noise. Okay, that's amazing. Glad to know it. So let's go. Let me check the submissions. So the first one, let me try to find it back. Where is it? Eric. All right. Got some out of the last review. I don't know. Worst case scenario, you're going to resubmit next time. I just picked some that were not that far away. Going to see. Anyways, I'm just selecting some, so that's pretty much it. I'm not going to review everyone. Let's go. Eric, my goal is to be character concept artist for companies with similar art style to the ones of From Software and Ubisoft. If you want to work at From Software, learn Japanese, or else aim at studios outsourcing for them. Due to my lack of direction and failure to understand the requirement for this position, I feel like I need to improve on my portfolio pieces to show and include props, interaction, variations, and call out sheets. I see you have the green name, so I guess the preparatory module got you a lot of information already. So let's have a look. Let me just increase the luminosity so I can see it properly. Let's go. So character design, I guess you definitely want to walk into fantasy. The first thing that I notice immediately is that you have a lot of armor character, which is one thing that is good. The first thing they're going to ask is, do you know how to draw faces? You will have to draw faces. You'll have to draw more than that. I'm not going to talk that much about the technique. We are still a bit early regarding technique. But yeah, having tons of faces, not covering them with mask is going to be very important. It feels for a recruiter that you could be potentially trying to conceal the face all the time, maybe to hide the difficulty. So be careful with that. You will have to go for what is tough because that's where there is value. Also, for your characters, it would be good, especially for fantasy, to be able to, what can I say, to fit all the different archetypes you will have in fantasy, not just knights, but also mages, rogues, rangers, all the D&D classes, you know, tons of NPCs. Otherwise, you're just a knight expert, and it might be a bit too narrow. Regarding the design part, you have it in the preparatory module, so I'm going to be quick. But yeah, showing drastically different iterations would be great. Right there, you see the pose is still somewhat similar, so it's more costume design than character design, even right there. It would be nice to have different proportions, different body shapes, different attitude, different stories, different selling points for the character based on the brainstorming. It feels there is a bit of photo underneath. I don't mind, but I will also showcase the anatomy of character. Right there, it's very concealed under the folds and all of that. So it will be important to showcase the anatomy. And for knights and armors, I think it can be worth it to show some kind of breakdowns, like the different layers. Like you have the clothes, then you have the armor, then you have chainmail, then you have gambeson, then you have linen, etc. To know, as a 3D modeler, what are the different layers you're going to have on top of the body of a character. Also, in terms of believability, I will imagine some extra padding between the plate armor and the legs, because chainmail is going to pinch your skin, and the plate armor, even if there is a bit of chainmail, is going to wreck and grind your skin. So it needs to be dampened with some kind of gambeson or padded clothing. We could always assume it's potentially underneath the robe. It's just that we don't know. So I think it would be important to show that you are aware of this kind of stuff. If you want a great channel on how to solve this kind of fantasy issue and how to understand how medieval things work, you have two channels. You have Scalagrim on YouTube, and you have Shadiversity. Those two channels are going to explain to you a lot of things. Doing great, D, Abigail. Just a bit sick, as you can hear from the voice. Just back from IAMAG, and we did a massive home run as for last time when we were at Kind of Art. So pretty nice. Rendering is okay. I think the rendering on something like this is kind of good. You're going to see the technique like volume, material separation, ambient occlusion, all of that. The lighting is a bit soft, so it would be nice to have a slightly more directional lighting. I think I don't mind the diffuse one with the way you render this way. It's kind of good, but I want to know more functionality. Like right there, you see you have a lot of straight lines, and you want those to bump a bit. You want to break the silhouette a bit more. And yeah, just expanding your design range eventually. Not just knights, but NPCs, mages, dignitaries, non-fighting characters, etc. Yeah, the meetup was amazing. All right, that will be it. I'm pretty sure the exercise from the preparatory module is helping at the moment, and I cannot wait to see what you're going to do. In addition to characters, I would advise you to do a bit of creatures, like some mounts, some sidekicks, etc. Because you might do a bit more, maybe not some monsters, but character designers, especially for fantasy projects, they are also the one in charge of designing monsters. Generally, it's very rare that you have a full-time creature designer. That will be it. Yeah, the meetup was amazing, Janice. It was very good. We met some amazing people. All right. Enoch, your turn. Interesting profile for Enoch. My goal is to become an environment concept artist for Ubisoft and other similar studios. Right now, my portfolio looks like a little too keyframe. Yes. I'm working on including more sketches. My mentor is incredibly talented and has been super generous helping me, but hasn't really worked on AAA video games. In that case, make sure to complement your education. It makes it harder for him to help me build a portfolio. He only really critiques the design splash art side of things. Currently, I'm on the upper side of freelancing hell and I have a part-time job teaching digital art to beginners. I'm open to advice, critique that you can. First of all, the link down below, the Artnest Academy /portfolio guide, use that framework. It's already going to tell you what needs to be done. If you're watching the channel, if you've been watching the channel and the content we have been producing at the Artnest for a long time, you know the portfolio structure, you know the callouts, you basically have all the knowledge you need to escape out of the keyframe limbo. So yeah, in terms of sketches, right there, it's still very cinematic. So it would be nice to not just have cinematic stuff, but also have pure callouts for those environments. I've been showing them a lot. You are into fantasy, so let me show the work of Galb. I've showed it a trillion times. But callout is like this. You have one keyframe right there, and all the rest is just callout, iteration, callout, 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 etc. So that's the kind of things you would need. For one keyframe like this, have 5 to 8 pages worth of research and sketches. Something that has been told to us by the guys from Dardo Studio, they are like the most elite studios working for Riot Games at IAMAG, is instead of seeing that like a keyframe, try to see it like a fake screenshot. Try to portray something that you see exactly as if you are in the game. Like if it's, what kind of game is it? Is it a first-person shooter? In that case, show it as a first-person with the hands, just like in Destiny or Doom. Is it a third-person action RPG? In that case, show it like a third-person action RPG. You start with that. It shows to the recruiter that you give context and that, okay, this is for a third-person action RPG. Those are the constraints we have. These are the the biggest selling points for the project. And now all your design decisions are going to potentially make more sense with that as a reference. Does that make sense? That's very important. To give context, this way they know what kind of problem you are trying to solve. You do not design a character for a first-person shooter the same way you design a third person. Let's pick a character from Overwatch. What is going to be the most important is the weapon. It's treated almost like an extension of the character. It's also very important to design the forearms because this is what you're going to see 90% of the time. Then maybe the head and all the rest, nobody gives a shit. On the other hand, let's say you design for a third-person RPG or third-person game, the back view of the character is going to be as important, if not more important than the front view of the character. You're going to put all your gear, your loot, everything in the back of the character because this is what you're going to admire 90% of the time. This is very, very, very important. Make sense? Other pictures on LinkedIn. Yeah, they're on the IAMAG IRL Discord, and I'm going to make a debriefing from IAMAG eventually. I don't know if it will be open to the public because it's mostly addressing the feedback we got with the mentees and me. But TLDR from IAMAG, it was great. We got steamrolled by Dardo Studio, at least at the beginning, because they just wanted gameplay, even more gameplay heavy stuff. So they were very advanced. It was very interesting. So feedback duly implemented. But it's weird because what Dardo Studio hated, all the studios like Character or Rare, they absolutely loved it. So Dardo, radical proposition, radical feedback. That's normal. But I absolutely love that. I was not feeling great after the feedback because he spent like an hour and a half punching everything we have done so far constructively. But Character, they love it. We need to get in touch because they want to hire some people. Rare Studio, we need to get in touch with them. I met the guys from Shiro Games. It was amazing. I met more and more guys. So it was nice. We're going to have even more opportunities. Also, share to them that idea of offering a service to studios directly, not just to applicants. I'm going to talk more about that in a few months, probably. Most of the studios are very, very positive about that. So that's regarding fake screenshot. Regarding environment, I mean, when it comes to building, I don't like designing silhouettes. I don't like designing front views. I want to see how it looks in perspective. Ronald, next time I'm going to announce that. So next time I announce it, post it again. Yeah. But right now I'm set with those. I'm going to answer a few questions after. So this is going to be for next time. But don't worry, if you submit it again, I might see it. So yeah, for environment, avoid silhouette, avoid front view, draw it in perspective. We need to understand how it's going to look in perspective, okay? Let me give you an example. Let's pick Luca. Poor Luca was having a broken leg during IAMAG. He was exhausted. But you want to show things like that in perspective, even with a small 3D blockout. Fake perspective like that if you want, that's fine. But we need to see things in volume. If you just see a silhouette like that, it's not useless, but it's not the most useful. Right there, it's way better because it's tangible, you know? If it's something works in the front view, it might not work in perspective. So it's very important. So yeah. Have some callouts for the ship. Have some callouts for everything you show in the scene. You need to always ask yourself when you share a package, if I give that to the 3D team, can they do everything? Can I model everything without guessing? Right at the ship, front, top view. Okay, that's cool. What about the side view? What about the back view? What about the callouts on how the wings open, etc.? Things like that. Very, very important. Let's have a look at other ones. Just a keyframe. There you go. I will not show 3D bases for concept art. I will paint over them. I will design them a bit more. I would avoid symmetry. So yeah, really start with the brief, start designing sketches, and really do the cinematic stuff at the end. It's going to be quite important. You will benefit more, and you will save more time also designing this, because right now you are designing and doing the shot at the same time. Might be a bit tough. I'm not the biggest fan of tons of brushwork and particles everywhere. It tends to be a bit distracting. I know that for cinematic shot, we want that. We want the final result. We want the dove and all of that. For the foreground, okay, let's talk about that. The studio is called Dardo Studio. Here we go. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Nathan. So let's talk about what happened with the camera right there, because that's a bit weird. You know, right here, you have that scene with the character, the spaceship, and everything. So literally, you have the characters right there. Okay. The other one's grabbing the guy. Sorry, it's with a mouse today, as always. You will have the spaceship right there. Potentially even further away. Okay, let's assume this is a spaceship, okay? You have the path right there. You have the camera here. And you decide to put cables just there, you know? Like you have cables just there. It would have changed nothing to the shot by moving the camera by 1 meter and removing that. If you want to add a foreground, make sure the foreground adds something to the story. It's a rule of classical painting. Something in the foreground, it's called an amorce in French. I don't know to translate that in English, but something like this in classical painting, there's always a story meaning. Right there, what's the story meaning? I don't really know. Let me show you an example. Do I have my collection somewhere? Nope. Oh, I need to sign in. Let me try to sign it. Please tell me it's working. Just to access my collections. Thank you. Let me give you an example of foregrounds, okay? I know exactly which picture I'm thinking about. Just need to find it. You could have this one. Where is it? This one. This is a foreground for story, right there. It adds a lot of context. You know, it's an assassination attempt. You know, the priest is okay. He's surprised. This guy is surprised. This guy, definitely the one who ordered that. This guy is going to finish the job. This is how you tell a story with a foreground. Same right there with those little creature wreaking havoc everywhere. They had a lot of sound, they had a lot of context. It's a very noisy environment. And that girl is very chill in the middle. So try to add some story with a foreground. If it's just for the sake of being blurry, having depth of field, I know it's kind of reframing your picture, but try to do two birds, one stone at the same time. Trouble understanding the idea of gameplay element for something like a cottage or a shop. Is just having a location to purchase or grab something gameplay. Yeah, that's enough. For purchasing, yes. But we need in that case to discover the weapons. They need to be showed. Maybe there's a training dummy nearby and all of that. Looking forward to you coming back, Riley, by the way. So that would be it for you, Enoch. Francesco, your turn. Give me a second. Let me see. All right, Francesco. Yeah. No worries. No worries, Riley. Francesco, I would like to work as an environment and props concept artist for studios like CDPR, Ubisoft, Warhorse, Naughty Dog. I'm so constantly trying to improve my workspace in composition, rendering, and color. Maybe composition is not the most important. Same with rendering. We're going to see with the work. Expand manage about pipeline workflow and remain motivated. Yep. Again, you have the green name. It's going to help you a lot. See you, Ini. Take care. Let's go. So we have a lot of 3D right there. It feels at least like there is a bit of 3D, or else it's just photo bashing. You see, it's a lot of polished pictures. Those will be okay for illustrations, I think. It's a bit foggy right there. I will ban the airbrush. I will ban just slapping fog in between the layers. I would just manually decrease the contrast and paint it. It will suggest the fog. If you add fog, it's going to create this kind of white veil in front of your pictures. This one is great. I like the rendering on that one a lot. It's just that it's that in between cartoony and realistic. So yeah, we still have a bit of a technical update to do. Right there, it's very foggy. It's very messy. You see, copy the picture. Always check in black and white. You see right there, there's not that much contrast, so it's hard to read. When in doubt, pass it in black and white. You're going to see if it works or not. One quick tangent. Outstation custom UI is dog shit. Use the default outstation. Right there, it's very weird. For one reason, the escape button doesn't work. So you have to manually come back there or click on something. It's a little detail, but it's very annoying for the recruiter, I think. So ban the custom outstation profile. Use the default one. That's fine. Keep the pro if you want. That's totally okay. But avoid the custom UIs, in my opinion. I mean, those are okay for illustrations. It's a bit empty. I would like to be like, okay, what's the story of that street? It's a bit hard to tell a story of a street. So maybe what's the anecdote? Maybe there's a cat that is coming projecting a massive shadow. Maybe there's someone bringing an offering to that unknown knight. Let's try to just have one anecdote, you know? It's very important. Like those guys, what are they doing? What's the nature of the interaction? They are about to embrace each other. I don't really know. I'd like to know more. This guy, what he's doing. So it's really try to think about one place, one cultural influence for the architecture, one anecdote, one type of people in it, and should be good. The thing is that it's very illustration heavy right now. Again, I would see that in some unofficial D&D content. Right here, the sketching is a bit blocky. I would advise you to work with a bit more references when it comes to those buildings because they are a bit weird. Same with how the city is arranged. It looks a bit chaotic right now. I don't really know the architectural inspiration. There are some stuff that look a bit Asian and some stuff that look more European. So it's a bit weird. Right there, those things, it's very Asian, I think. Those curves right there. Some right there, it feels like a Chinese building a bit. This one with the cross section is for Viking. So try to be a bit careful regarding the architecture. Feel free to get references. Right there we have some callouts. It would be nice to have callouts for pretty much every different building to build it like a kit, you know, and define what is the unique elements to each building and what are the reusable elements, like a modular kit to build those buildings. If you can do something like that, that would be a great value, I think. Callout right there is fine. Those silhouettes are okay, but I would prefer them to be in perspective rather than front views. That little call out, go check the Feng Zhu video 109. And you have all the formulas needed for it in the preparatory module. So you will know to avoid the blocky aspect, to make a bit more foundation, to use the X, Y, and Z axis. That part is potentially a bit too wobbly right there. And also it's a bit hard to circulate. So it would be nice to define maybe 3 different functions in that place and have nukes for that. I don't really know what they are trying to do in that stall. So if it was obvious what they are building and what kind of problem they are trying to solve, you could then break down the process, and every part of the room is meant for a specific step of the process. This one is a bit better already. Still a bit blocky, but a bit better in terms of detail distribution. I like it a lot. Very nice. Those trees are cool. Totally fine. They are a bit stylized compared to the rest right there. That is more realistic. So I'm a tad confused. I would like to see more also of the problematics that they are suspended houses on those gigantic trees. How do they support that? Why? How do they navigate in between the houses? How do they deal with the fact that they are extremely high right there? It would be nice to have elements answering that already. Maybe they have some windows and some zip lines to send things from one house to the other, etc. Those are the gameplay elements too. Those zip lines, how do you move between those houses? Why? What justifies that? Etc. Characters, you said you wanted to do a bit more environment. So the feedback I said for characters before, apply different poses, different body shape. Rendering is a bit soft right now. It's still a bit round everywhere. So play to your strength, okay? You are only as good as your worst piece. If you're not comfortable at environment, focus on character first. Then once you get tired, start developing characters a bit more, I guess. Right now, this is very photo bashed. You want to cover up your tracks. You want to make sure we cannot dissociate what has been made in 3D, 2D, photo bash, etc. Those sketches right there, I think it was done with Blender. Increase the FOV. It feels like it's the default like 50mm camera. Put it between 20 and 30mm for environment. Make it very wide. Not Blender? Okay. In any case, the perspective is very narrow. Try to open the shot. Try to make it wider overall. It's going to help a lot. Like you see, that's the difference of FOV. This is very narrow and you just see more overall. You see? I wish there was some, like this one. This is 80. This is 120. Generally in millimeter, between 20 and 30mm, you can hardly go wrong. For environment, it's going to create a very wide field of views. You're going to sense the perspective and depth a lot. Yeah, 25mm is good on average. I would say between 20 and 30, depending on what you do. 30 tends to be a bit shorter in terms of lens already. 25 is a good sweet spot, yeah. It doesn't have to be automatic. You need to have a reason behind that. Sometimes having like a tele lens is going to make sense. But for environment, yeah, generally a bit wider is going to help a lot. Whether it's a bit narrow, and try also to be at a POV shot, like that picture or that one, the second and the third one, they are okay. This one, on a bird view, unless you're doing this kind of adventure game like Monkey Island or something like that, you're rarely going to have this kind of POVs in game. It's useful as showing the thing, but we don't know if it's a keyframe, a fake screenshot, a callout. It's a bit in between. If you're really on top, show the full building, make it a callout sheet. In that case, sure. But right there, because it's rendered, we don't really know. It's going to be the main thing. This one is very textured. This one is a bit weird in terms of grain, especially for the houses right there. It's no offense, I hope I'm wrong. It's giving me a slight AI feeling because of how smooth it is. I would be a bit careful with that picture. I don't know what's causing that. It's giving me a slight AI feeling right there. So be careful about that. If you want to do this kind of different lighting, the way to do it is you paint your thing in overcast, and then you add layers of lighting and shadows to do those different things. This is very close to what you have done, but you see right there, the shadows, they are the same here and in the night and in the morning. So it's the same lighting scenario, just different colors. So paint it in overcast and add those things manually, I will say. Right there, same, the FOV is a bit shallow. FOV is a bit shallow, so extend it, widen it. It's a bit blurry. You see, you have a lot of blurry parts. Let me show you in small. First of all, pure black or almost pure black things, under 5%, careful about that, you're going to clog the picture. I know on certain monitors that are a bit low contrast, it's okay, you're going to see through that. I'm running a high contrast monitor right now on the laptop, and it tends to clog things a lot. Even if I'm cranking the luminosity to the max, it's a bit too much. And more importantly, careful, because you have certain parts that are blurry. As I'm saying to the mentees all the time, ban the fucking airbrush. Ban every brush that is not solid. Like right there, this is very, very soft. And it creates this kind of blurry area, even right there with the this kind of bloom effect. It's making things hard to read. You want to be sharp for concept. You really want to be sharp. In terms of relevancy, we are good. We are with this kind of fantasy. Try to analyze the codes of the companies you are aiming at more. Let's say Assassin's Creed, for example, are going to have a lot of verticality everywhere, to climb everywhere. So that's the kind of stuff that are going to be important. Oh my god, Britom, what are you doing here, buddy? You should be editing videos. Hope you're doing well, buddy. The most common issue in an image is lack of clarity. Yeah, and that's if you were at the previous stream from 2 weeks ago, I showed a post where I asked some question to the 3D artist, like what is the biggest source of trouble you are getting with concept art? What do you wish was done differently? And unanimously, all of them was like, lack of clarity, remove guesswork, please. So that's the kind of stuff that they want. So clarity, sharpness, things like that. Chris, how are you doing? It's been a while. So that will be it. Of course, in terms of content, more props, more mechanism. I've showed Gail's work a ton, same with Lucas, so have a look at those. Try to imitate these kind of props and callouts. Not the same content, but the idea behind and why it's there in a portfolio. It's going to be way better. Oh, yeah. Wait to talk again, Britom. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. All right. Let me grab just some toilet paper so I can sneeze. Give me a sec. Sorry. My nose is a fountain right now. I'm very sick. So yeah, that would be it, Francesco. In terms of rendering, we're almost good enough. Try to use simpler 3D. If you use photo, tries to cover your track. I have hiccup, that's amazing. I love it. So yeah, try to cover your track and try to make sure we cannot dissociate what has been painted, what has been made in 3D, and what has been made with photos. Oh my god, I love having hiccups. I'm going to... This is the struggle stream today, guys. Oh my god. I'm going to start burping. It's going to sound horrendous. You're warned, guys. Why don't you do more of the hit the like button? I'm not a YouTuber, but yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, and do all the YouTuber stuff, guys, okay? I need to see 62 likes right now, okay? And if I hit 60 likes, I'm going to not close my mouth when I'm burping, okay? It's going to sound disgusting. Oh my god, it's actually walking. Anyways, I'm not a YouTuber, guys. All right. From a cat in arena, Yakovleva. I'm sorry, I probably butchered your name. I'm very bad with Balkan name. My name is Kate, and I'm an environment concept artist. I have quite a bit of experience. Yeah, and I put you with the purple name. Congratulations. The highlight of my career was working through an outsourcing studio on AAA project. However, I was laid off, and I decided to take a break, rebuild my portfolio, and reflect on my goals. I believe I need to create a more strong environment project with solid development to refine my current portfolio. For a while, I focused on keyframes, which are still in my portfolio, but maybe I'm missing more portfolio mistakes. For the studios I'm aiming for, I think it's those that offer remote work, since I'm not located in the EU or the US. But I can't be more specific right now because I'm feeling a bit lost with my goal. So just one little thing before we start regarding remote work. I think it's going to be more freelance works. I want to have a clear, that's a question I got yesterday in the mentorship. And I want to have a clear distinction between remote and freelance because I still see a lot of misconception regarding that term. It's probably what you meant, like remote, like distant jobs. But when you are getting an offer, you need to not fall for that mistake, okay? So let's create some boxes, okay? Okay. Okay. Let's expand that. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's clarify the thing. So you have 4 types of job, okay? You have on-site. Okay. So you are at the company, okay? You have hybrid, which is, so generally you tend to be salary. Tend to be a salary person right there. Hybrid, you are also generally a salary. And you are working some days at the studio and some other days from home, but you are not that far away from the studio, okay? Remote. You're still a salary person, generally. That's what companies mean, okay? So it means you are at least in the same country as the studio. You're just working from home as a salary person. Freelance, you are from anywhere in the world working from home, okay? And you're a contractor. There are a few exceptions, but generally when someone says remote, You have to be in the same country as the studio. Getting a person to be a salary person from another country, it's a legal mess. So be careful about that. Do you have Instagram? Not yet. I need to make one for the Art Nest. An art station is coming too, by the way. We're going to make an art drop probably by the end of the month. We need to plan that with the mentees. Okay, so when someone says, hey, I'm looking for remote, if you're in Europe and you're looking for a remote job in the US, it's not remote that you're looking for, it's freelance. So it was not for you, Kate, but it's just for everyone to clarify those things. And honestly, remote work, do not bet on that. Unless you are senior level, do not bet on remote salary work. It was a very COVID thing. It was a COVID lockdown thing. And unless we get another lockdown situation, I'm not expecting remote work to be the majority of work available. It still exists a bit, but it's very rare. And as a junior, you should not bet on that. As a junior, you probably want to be on site or hybrid. Most studios, they offer hybrid now. Or else, if you are living in a country away from the hotspot of the industry and you cannot afford to move or you don't want to move, freelance is going to be your option and you have to really be out there, okay? Personally, don't find hybrid work appealing. Yeah, me neither. Hybrid and on-site, I fucking hate that. But that's just my opinion. But I'm glad I started my career with on-site. You learn way more by being on-site because they can manage you better. And it's not to be tyrannical with you. It's also to give you the tools to excel faster. Okay? So, outsourcing studios. Oh my god, Halo Infinite. That's quite good. That's very good. So, in terms of technique, there's not that much to tell you. I remember that concept. It's beautiful. Like I mean, you know to design, you know the rendering, you know pretty much everything regarding technique. You have a few sketches right there. You have those 3D bases. I will probably... I need to put that in the right context because you are not a junior anymore. So you can afford to be a bit more lenient like that. But I would still paint over that. I would not really show the 3D base. They know you use 3D. I will start painting a bit more on top. Like right there, we can still sense the 3D base. It's a bit too perfect. I will break it a bit more. I will add more story element to tell about the people who live there. It's still a bit, quote unquote, generic. I would like to see some graffitis, maybe some kids running after a cat, some toys, some other activities, maybe a barbecue, I don't know. Anything that can tell me a bit more about what is it unique about the people who live in that place. Why did they decide to make such a singular architecture? What justifies that, etc. If you can solve that, you're going to level up like massively. Yeah, breaking the 3D aspects, not getting noticed. You really want the person to be incapable of noticing what has been made in 3D, 2D, Photoshop, photo bashing, drawing, etc. It needs to feel like a whole. I'm always showing the same picture, this one from God of War, and Google is never showing the one in high res in the first place. So let me grab that one. Here we go. I'm always showing that picture. I need to save it. But this is what I mean all the time when I think about blending 2D, 3D, photo bashing, etc. You have parts made in 3D, like right here. No problem. You have parts made with photos. You have parts that have been painted, like right there, the background, the mountain. You have parts that have been photo bashed, like probably this. See some weird chromatic aberration right there or there. You have parts that are mixer brushed. And overall, it's very consistent. The more you can be in that middle ground, the better, in my opinion. You can see it on the character website here, the God of War image, yeah. All right. So the next question I would ask myself, I mean, this is beautiful, okay? This is beautiful. We still feel the 3D, so maybe you are still doing that at work or something like that. And for studios, that's okay. For portfolio, just think, regardless of your level, you always want to over deliver. You have the modular kit. Okay, let's add some props, etc. Right there, this is very good. You have that 3D, you have that 2D, you have that photo bashing. This is good. Let's add some props to tell the story of the people who live there. Okay, so the main thing is not that much the design skills or the rendering, you know, to do that. It's mostly product market fit. Like what you do right there, is it matching the need of one project? I don't know, besides potentially Halo or Star Wars Jedi Survival, I don't know which games has this kind of monolithic structures. This is very Lord of the Rings like right there. I like it. So it's really about grabbing a set of companies doing similar stuff, making an average of what they do in terms of genre, tone, etc., and committing in that direction, and really trying to match their codes as much as possible. The more consistent, the more you prove to them, hey, I understand what you need for that project that you are working on. You don't have to train me, I can do it immediately. And you have the technique to do that, the more likely you are to get a job again. This is very, very good, Kate. And right there, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful. I like the blending of 2D, 3D photo bashing. This is very consistent. Very nice. Try to go into mechanical problem solving too, like puzzles. How does these doors open? Explain how these are open. Animations, breakdowns of things. That thing, how does it work? How do you open? What's inside? Etc. Concept breakdown. Okay, this is just a time lapse. Okay, very good. Try to, yeah, those variations are great. Try to really explain what kind of problems we're trying to solve. What's the brief? What is it about the personality of the owner of that thing that can be reflected on that chariot and wagon for it to be almost an extension of the character? Things like this. It's really about the compelling factor now. This is amazing. I don't have anything to tell you regarding the technique. This is fine. I don't mind the 3D, 2D, whatever. This is just about making the design deeper now. Here we go. Callouts like that. At your level, you can still definitely have that. Like right there, this is beautiful. I will detail them even more. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. Those are anecdotes right there. This is beautiful. It's still a bit blocky. Maybe it's due to the architecture. But this kind of stuff, I like it a lot. Really like it a lot. Very good work. Very, I mean, it's more than mentorship right there. You're a pro, you worked on fucking Halo, you know? Yeah, a few callouts like this. There's a great value in that. I will make it more complex. Again, video of Fengzhu number 109. Right there, this is still a bit blocky. We are missing the verticality. It's a bit photo bashed. We can go beyond that. Right there, why not opening it and showing what's inside, having a cat play with the clothes and such. Very good. Damn, I miss my cat. I'm not at home right now. I miss my cat. He's with my grandparents. I want my cat. Very Demon Soul-like. Nice. This is great. Breakdowns like that. With gameplay. Very good. This is valuable right now. This is very valuable. It's still flat. I would like to see a bit more three-dimensionality in it. But this is extremely valuable right there. Thinking in terms of gameplay. Having some fake screenshots would be great. That one is great. You have the name of a boss, you have some cinematic effect. This could almost be like a Bloodborne boss. Like it. Add some UI to some of them. To really show which kind of game you are designing for. Great. Those sketches are nice. Kate, I don't know if you are there, but if you are in the chat, feel free to answer to me. How much time do you apply per month? And if so, what is your overall strategy when applying? Are you answering just job offer? Are you doing cold email? I would need a bit more context, but I think if you cold email more aggressively, you can definitely get some gigs already. You just have to do it very aggressively. But yeah, this is great. I mean, you can definitely work. So do not wait for job offer. Really cold emails you, get in touch with as many people as possible because you have everything it takes right there. It's a bit ArtStation meta. Those ships, we have seen them a lot since Florent Lebrun, same with this kind of structure. But that work right there is beautiful. Those houses beautiful. The work on Halo is great. Nice callouts for those pipes right there. Oh no, my mouse died. Okay, I'm going to do with the trackpad. Let me plug my mouse. Okay, try to apply as much as possible, Kate. It's just a matter of volume right now. If you get rejected, it's part of the game. You need to get desensitized to that. And cold email, it forces volume. We got some... I need to document all of that. It's taking long, but some students, they applied 250 times during the month of February, so then they got 7 to 8 offers. Just through sheer raw volume and relevant work. Your work is relevant, so you just need the volume. Give me a sec, I'm going to plug my mouse. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Those are big numbers, yeah, but you can do it in just a few hours a day. Like we developed some portfolio templates, some cold email templates and such with the mentees. I asked a copywriter to write them. I commissioned the copywriter to do that. And those are some templates, but the first paragraph is personalized. You can personalize it. So immediately you make it relevant to the studio. It does not feel copy pasted. And it allows the mentees to send 10 applications in less than an hour. That's how we did it. I want to document how we did that. It's just that I have not even reviewed the little contest we did. I need to name the winners. The winner is definitely Un. There's no question about that, given how many results he got. But the number 2, number 3, I don't know yet. And yeah, it's doable. It's doable. You just need one template and that's good. So yeah, Kate, you have everything it takes. Try to dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to sending a few cold emails to pros and to studios, even when they don't have a job offer. Make it relevant to them in the first place, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Have if you want to templatize a bit your approach, it's like, okay, first paragraph, this is where you're going to personalize it. So, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm reaching out to you because insert specific thing specific to the studio. Here we go. Very short second paragraph that you can always copy and paste. Here are my value as a concept artist, like bringing value, solving problem for the 3D team, blah, blah, blah. Everything we talk about, everything you can see at the top left of the screen right now, you can literally copy paste that, like my values, blah, 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 blah. You can check out my work here. Link to your portfolio. Looking forward to hear more from you. Your name. And you can literally copy paste the same formula and you just change that part right here. You make it personal to the studio all the time. You're good. You can send 10 emails per day in an hour and a half. That's how we'll do it at least. It's just a bunch of volume, and a lot of artists in your situation, the reason they are not swimming in jobs is just they do not go enough after applications. I hope it doesn't sound harsh. It's with all the benevolence and love I can have. Um, it's really about going out there. You cannot expect a studio to discover you and waiting for a studio to discover you or waiting for a job offer to appear. I talked about that in the previous live with the iceberg metaphor, but you are just waiting for the top 10% of job that everyone is fighting for, while the 90% of jobs that nobody is fighting for is through recommendation. And to get recommended, you need to build relationship with artists and studios, and to do that, you need to cold email them. It's not about the work anymore. It's just about mailing now. So you have done the hardest. That's great. Sammy, your turn. I'm a 2D intern at a mobile game company right now. After graduating for 3D since last July, I enjoy doing concept art most, but I've been trying a bit of UI design and grading my illustration skills to portray my ideas better. My inspiration vary. Companies I want to work with vary. Guerrilla, Lion, Hazelight, Supergiant, PC games. Working on indie studio would be something I'm also keen for. Okay. Okay. I definitely think that I should specialize in something, whether that's a specific thing like character, or even in terms of subject matter like medievals. And yeah, right there with those studios, it's a bit all over the place. You might like them. I like them too. But it's just that some of them, they are a bit incompatible with each other. And when you really look at your work, you have some attempt at photorealistic stuff. You have some more stylized ones right there. You have those beautiful callouts. Those are nice, very elegant. You have some more splash out type of thing. It's all over the place. So my tip would really be to figure out what you like and commit to that. Let me draw a little thing. Again, this is the day of bad drawings. Okay. Let me do a little something like that. Let me draw a circle. Okay. So you know this kind of thing, the intersections. So right there, let me fill it up in blue, red, whatever. Okay. This one, let's do it in blue. This one, let's do it in green. Okay. So try to pick something at the intersection of what you are good at. Sorry, this is with the mouse. What you like and what the market wants. So you seem to be good at environment, for example. Like those callouts, those are great. I think you are slightly better at environment than characters. Hope it doesn't sound as rude or whatever. This is with all the benevolence in the world. That's when doing like Spider-Verse is cool. But those callouts, those are great. I like it. You know to draw environment. Same right there. This is beautiful right there. I really like that. So I will start with environment design. I will pick one type of game. Let's say you like Lion Studio RPGs. So let's commit to RPGs. Okay. So Enviro RPGs. Let's say Medfan. Okay. What the industry needs. You can look at BG3. Horizon. Zero Down. You can look at Fable. The Witcher. God of War. What else? That's already pretty good, I think. Like Assassin's Creed. You make an average of that. You commit to that. That's what you are targeting with your portfolio. And when you land something, then you can afford to expand your skills to something else. A different style, different expertise like characters, something like this. And eventually you're going to improve. Bushfire, this is beautiful. This is still a bit clean. The scale is quite big. So it's hard for, at that scale, to have some proper storytelling everywhere. So maybe next time try a slightly smaller scale like this. This might be a bit too small, so something in between. But right now, this is beautiful. This is very simple but beautiful. I will make it a bit more complex. Again, Feng Zhu episode 109. It's going to tell you everything you need. This is great. I prefer your environment. Like by a landslide, I prefer your environment. Those drawings are pretty cool. Starting to be a bit old, but the posing is dynamic right there. I would start with environment, personally. I don't want to decide for you. Those props are great. It's a bit hard to read with this kind of tag graffiti look behind, but those props are pretty nice. Like it. So yeah, everything I said for everyone else with your environment, I will do it for you. This is very mentorship ready in case you're interested. This is great. Like you have everything it takes. It's just about pushing it a bit more. You see the shapes are still a bit blocky. It's still a bit empty. It's a casino, so you need to circulate right there. I think casinos tend to be a bit more crammed generally to overwhelm you with lights and things like that. For example, when I was eating at the restaurant in Andorra's casino, the unique, and it's overwhelming. You have machines everywhere. You have flashes everywhere. It was a nightmare. I hate casinos. I was eating there. Very beautiful restaurant. Very cheap, surprisingly, compared to what you would expect. And yeah, but you had to pass through the casino before, and it's absolutely overwhelming right there. It's so crammed with machines everywhere. You see, you have corridors of machines like that. This is crazy. So that's the kind of stuff I would advise you to potentially do. Sounds good? All right. 2 more, and then I'm answering a few questions. I have to go. I'm starting to sweat heavily. The fever is kicking in again, I think. Interior versus exterior, you need to do both for environment design. You need to do both. So both interior and exterior, they goes hand in hand generally. Don't trust places that give you free alcohol. Yeah, you know what? At the end of the dinner, they gave us like a set of free $2 bills for the casino just to try. And this is like the best free marketing that they have because they want to hook you. And I'm pretty sure they rigged the machines so you can win a bit, and you're more tempted to spend your money after. That casino is not regulated at all. There's no regulation on that one for sure. Seems like other matches got these two. Yeah, I mean, we are in a packed environment. There is a lot of epidemics at the moment in Paris. It was to be expected. EA needs to learn from it. Trust me, they know all the casino tactics already. All right. Expelled Mystery. Let's have a look at what you wrote. Oh, that's Amy. I'm Corina, Amy from Croatia, Serbia. Get in touch with Jess. She's from Croatia. You're going to be buddies, I think. You did. Fantastic. Jess could be a fantastic secondary mentor for you, I think. I've been drawing, freelancing, and whatnot for years, but I've only recently started actively learning about concept art pipelines in the game industry. So I'd like to improve my skills as a concept artist. I love all kind of, especially dark fantasy project creatures and characters. So studio I'm looking for. I'm not entirely sure yet. So regarding the pipeline, I hope the preparatory module is answering those questions already. I think you wrote to me already, and people tend to be happy with it. So if you are not done watching it, finish watching it. It's going to tell you most of the things you know. I'm glad to know it helps. Fantastic. All right. I need to centralize opinion about that and small testimonials for it. I'm going to ask for it pretty soon. But jokes aside, if you don't know where you are going in terms of studios, how can you possibly target them with relevant work? So as I was explaining before, at the risk of repeating myself all the time when I'm doing portfolio reviews, that's fine, that's part of the job. You have to pick, like, let's say 5 or 6 studios that are accessible to you in terms of visa and seniority. Understand what they want in terms of genre, color palette, style, etc. And make an average of what they do and commit to that. I'm immediately attracted to that character. This is wonderful. Like, this is beautiful. The design itself is great. It's very busy, probably a bit too much. We will need some resting areas and some hierarchy. We will need some resting areas right there. You know, generally a character, you tend to look at the face first. So this would be 1. Let me do it in green. Okay, generally this is 1. Generally the hands and the weapon are in 2. And generally the waist area or potentially the chest can be in 3. In that case, it's going to be the waist 3. All the rest, lower the detail a bit. The paging is beautiful. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. The paging is beautiful. Regarding rendering, it's still a bit soft. You would need the 3 things I mentioned in the preparatory module. So direct lighting, ambient occlusion, material separation. Try to apply that feedback on that character. I think you can really, really drastically level it up. Those concepts are fantastic. This is exactly the kind of stuff I would like to see for early sketches. This is almost a bit too rendered, but you have different body shape, different poses, different faces, different attitude, different costume, different everything. This is exactly the kind of stuff I like to see. This is extremely good. I'm very happy. You know, to design is just mainly about rendering. May I ask, thanks to Matt, oh my god. Matt, I'm saying it publicly, I need to start to pay you for all the feedback. I know I've been late on that thing. I'm going to finish developing it by the end of the month. We start that on April. We do a test month on April, guys. But Matt, absolute MVP. I've been doing so much for the community. I need to pay you, buddy. This is great. You want now the turnaround, the layering right there, because it's very complex. You have a lot of things overlapping on top of each other. So having a breakdown of the different layers of costume would be great. Improving the rendering because it feels a bit too soft. May I ask you, Amy, how much time did you spend on the rendering of that character? Roughly a quick guesstimate, at least. How much time, or even on that one? I think this one took probably a bit more time. Do you have an idea of how much time you spent on it? I'm not the biggest fan of the quote-unquote lore right there. There's a lot of complex words. There's a lot of slightly chat GPT inducing adverbs like unwavering, calm and composed, fierce. It's a bit empty in terms of content. It feels like fluff a bit. It feels a bit chat GPT-ish. I mean that with zero disrespect. Try to get straight to the point. Text in a portfolio, that's what I say to the mentees. It's not to be read, it's just a compositional tool to force the composition somewhere. You are figuring everything all at once. Okay, yeah. If you spend a bit more time on the rendering with the proper method showed in the preparatory module, I think it's going to be good. Is it possible to elaborate more on what you mean by rendering being soft? It's the lighting. You see, lighting is very diffuse right there. You want the lighting to be sharp. You want it to be very... let me give you examples. It's something I showed in the preparatory module, but let me show it again to everyone. You get a snippet from the preparatory module for free. Where is it? Rendering. Okay. I was explaining the good and bad practice when it comes to rendering. I'm going to add more stuff to the preparatory module pretty soon, by the way. I think that's right there. Nope. Lighting. Okay. That's the example of a very soft type of lighting right there. There's not that much direction. There's not that much separation between light and shadow. It's a bit all over the place. Right there, it feels like there is a spotlight, you know? It feels like it feels tangible. It highlights the volumes. You see, that's the same right there with that trim light. We go from this, which is not the best, to that where it catches the volumes, okay? We go from this where it's very ambient. You can still sense the volume, but it's not the best. To that right there where you have clear light and clear shadows. It's sharp. The light and shadow separation is sharp and obvious. Make sense? It's really the use of edge, exactly. Same right there. It's very diffuse. It's very soft. You have fog. Now, you know there is a sun. It's sharp. Okay? Another example. Right there you see, with and without. There's a massive difference between both. I hope it makes sense. So yeah, a bit clearer separation, a bit more volumes, a bit more glossy material. The three of them goes hand in hand. You'll have to potentially specialize into either characters or environment. I think you're slightly better at characters, but I'm pretty sure that thing is old and you could probably make it better today. Props needs to be more complex. Something that the guys from Dardo were asking constantly is, why would I solicitate you as a concept artist to do that when I could use a photo? And that hurts, but if it's just a photo with a little twist, it's not enough. You really need to combine several of them together to create something new. And right there, this is like your typical, let's say, this is your typical Samix Sage recurve bow. Something a bit like that. A monoblock. Huh? Oh, this is your typical monoblock recurve bow right there. Where's the twist? Where's the little spice, you know? If we look at, let's pick Jess. Now we are having the carving right here, the bone. You have 80% grounded, but you still have those little twists, those carvings right there that justify having a concept, okay? Those things with the skulls right there, etc. That's the kind of stuff I would advise for. I really like that drawing style. It's very soft. I like it a lot. Right here, the rendering is a bit better already. It's way sharper. That's way better. At that level, you might want to use a bit of photos sometimes to save, just for the sake of saving time. The rendering on that girl is great. On this one, it's still a bit soft. It's a bit Dishonored inspired. Right here, it's too soft. Yeah, you see the costume right here, it's lacking tangibility. It feels like a low poly model and the texture has been splattered on it. Right here, you see we are missing the volumes, the edge breaking stuff that I've been talking about in the preparatory module. So it's going to make more sense now. Yeah, I mean, you are heading in a great direction. Again, very mentorship ready. That's typically the kind of stuff we can do wonder with. Keep in touch with Jess. Try to correct that already. I think you can push those a bit further. You want to keep a base? Yeah, sure. But it's a post I made. Let me read it to you. You're going to understand immediately what I mean. So that's the meme. My concept art are photorealistic and cinematic. No, hire me. Your pictures don't solve shit for the team. Next candidate. It's a bit brutal, but why would I hire you as a concept artist when I could just use a photo? This is the question from other actors that exposes the biggest mistake 90% of concept artists are doing right now. If your portfolio is filled with photo bash environment that offers nothing beyond what exists in the real world, you're not demonstrating any design value to art directors. They want problem solver, they want visual communicator, creative thinker. The TLDR is that you want to have a base as a photo, but you want to mix it to the point that it creates something that cannot be found in a photo. Okay? That one, I can find a reference for the bow. I can probably find a reference for the arrow. I can find a reference for the glove. I can find a reference for those things. So assembled together, it's not that much. If I'm grabbing a crow's skull and making it out of wood, at the end right there, just like Jess did, for example, right there, this is not something I'm going to find a photo for. So this justifies the use of concept. Does that make sense? Other reviews of 3D environments. Unfortunately, I'm specialized into concept art. I'm going at some point to hire some other mentors for 3D animation, VFX, and duplicate what we are teaching in the mentorship to other jobs. But I need to find the right person, and I need to work with them to transpose the thing to deliver the right value overall. So unfortunately, it's not there yet, but I wish I could already. All right, that will be it for you, Amy. Keep on grinding with the preparatory module, and it's going to be helping you a lot. Last one of the day, then answering a few questions, and around 5 at best I have to go. Andy. I am Andy from Scotland. I like hard surface and mechanics. I've freelanced for small studios, but I never worked in-house. The target studio for me would be Mood, but I've not tailored my portfolio in terms of any studio. My work is probably 60-40, 3D, 2D. Okay. You don't want to become overly reliant on 3D, for sure. You want to use that, but you want to cover up your tracks, as I was saying. Right there, it gives this kind of weird vibe of stuff that has been photo bashed and painted, a bit of 3D. It's a weird mix. Your drawing is great. Damn. Holy shit. Damn. Wow. That's a lot right there. I love those. This is insane, dude. Those designs are fan-freaking-tastic. I will polish them a bit more. I will showcase a bit more the materials and such. There's a lot of notes right there, so it might be a bit cluttered. It's just that right there, it feels a bit too 3D. I will cover your tracks a bit better. Those animations are insane, dude. You're over delivering like crazy right there. This is beautiful. Wow. Those drawings are amazing. I mean, that stylized work, you should definitely commit to that a bit more. Because you seem to be very comfortable with those. Right there, it feels a bit weird in terms of clothing. It's just that there's a lot of folds and you will need a bit more harder surfaces sometimes. And right there, it feels too like a 3D thing. So I would just make it more consistent towards the drawing side rather than 3D. That would just be the thing. This kind of steampunk style might not be helping you that much. Because steampunk, it's not really a genre for video games. It's more of a kink for cosplay, in my opinion. You don't see that many games who are steampunk. There has been maybe Dishonored, a bit arcane. It's very specific. So steampunk, we don't really see it that much in productions, unfortunately. We saw The Order 1986, something like this. Damn. This is very good. I will detail those a bit more. I will show a bit more iterations here and there. I know you can iterate. It's just that when we see that, we just see props mainly. Maybe you want to expand to characters or a bit of environment. Yeah, those keyframes are nice. Still very 3D, of course. I will cover up the tracks a bit more. Those animations are incredible. Right now, it's not about the content of your portfolio or how you design. It's just about the genre and the subject itself. If you had to pick something a tad more market compatible, you do the same. You cover up the 3D tracks a bit better. You make it a bit more painterly. Similar to that right there. You apply aggressively, I don't see why you will not get jobs. Other person worked in AAA company before. You said a few studios before. So yeah, it's really about picking 5 or 6 studios doing similar stuff, tailoring your work to that. You keep the same level of design and research. This is great, dude. Those animations are sick. This is a massive example of how to over-deliver right there. Not everyone, I mean, very few concept artists are able to animate something like this. This is insane. Tailor it to studios a bit more. Keep up with the same thing. I can guarantee you that if you apply aggressive, you're going to get great results because there's a tremendous of value in that. Cover the 3D tracks though, at the risk of repeating myself. Wow. Was not expecting that opening your portfolio. Very good. All right. Let's have a few questions. And then I will have to go, folks. I'm very sick right now. Fever is kicking in. Let's go with the question, guys. Will concept art for animation be so different from games that it will require a different mentor? Make sure you have a mentor that understands the 3D pipeline. If they understand the 3D pipeline for games, they're going to understand it also for animation, or at least be able to cover you up for animation or movies. Someone who has only worked in animation or only in movies, they might not know the pipeline for games perfectly. I think the pipeline for games is the one requiring the most surgical approach. Let me explain why. Animation is going to cost more. By animation, I mean 2D animation. It's just going to cost more, and at some point, you're not going to be able to animate that. So it's very binary. Movies, worst case scenario, it's not optimized. You're going to lose time on rendering, but it's not going to affect the consumer. If it's badly optimized for a game, even the best computer cannot run it, and players are going to be unhappy because they are lagging like crazy when playing the games. So you have to optimize things properly. So I think the pipeline for games is going to be the most demanding, and also the one that gets you covered for the most things. That's just my 2 cents about that. Next question. When you do exploration sketches for character, how detailed should they be? I feel like I spend too much on over detailing. They should not be overly detailed. They should just have the main selling points clear enough for anyone to understand. Ask yourself, can a 6-year-old understand that? So mainly the 3 selling points, like the face, the hand, the waist, or the chest. The rest can be a bit more suggested. That's fine. As long as you have the main ID laid out, it's good. What are some of the most industry applicable settings themes to choose from without running at the risk of being generic? Very simple. I was about to say very simple, but that's a tough question. It's very easy to find what not to do. Like all the trendy stuff. Like what has been trending and done to oblivion in the last years. Dark fantasy. Post-apocalyptic. Now, for that year, Japan and China, because every single game is in Asia now, following Ghost of Tsushima and Wukong. We're going to have that all the fucking time for the whole year, and everyone is going to be fed up with Asia by the end of the year. Just ask yourself, has it been done to oblivion in the last 5 to 10 years? If yes, probably avoid that. To find a good subject, pick an existing story or trope. Add a massive twist to it that changes the rules of the world, but that still makes sense. It creates a problem that you have to solve, and roll with that. Let me give you an example. Existing trope, the Three Musketeers. Massive twist. It's not happening during the French Revolution, or French end of Revolution, rather. But instead, it's happening in 1920s Chicago Art Deco style. They are spies instead of being musketeers. Sprinkle a bit of esoteric things. Now you have an interesting subject. Everyone knows the Three Musketeers. Nobody saw the Three Musketeers in 1920 Chicago as spies. Pick the French Revolution, replace gunpowder by magic. You have a twist that changes the rules. It's going to drastically differ from what happened historically speaking, and that's good. Pick the Knights of the Round Table, put them in World War One. Interesting. That's the way I will do it personally. Pick an existing story, change the style. Princess Bride, The Treasure Island, something like that, but in Art Nouveau style for the ships and such. Interesting. That's the way I will do it. Thank you, Ronald. It's going to be better. My personal projects are leaning more to steampunk, but that might be too specific according to you. I might be biased. I don't like steampunk. To me, steampunk is something for cosplay, but not for concept art. What are the rules of steampunk? What are the problems that steampunk is trying to solve? It's literally industrial revolution and everyone is covered in gears, copper, and aviator goggles. We have not seen that many projects like that either. Maybe Bioshock. Maybe Dishonored a bit. That's it. Maybe the Order 1886, I think that's the name. So I would be very, very careful with steampunk because of the market demand and because the codes of steampunk are not established well at all. Dieselpunk, interesting. Have a look at Wolfenstein. But just ask yourself, what kind of problems are you trying to solve? That's very complex. It's because it's something we never experienced. We don't know it looks. It's akin to designing sci-fi. Sci-fi is so fucking hard because nobody knows what it's going to be. Steampunk, it's the same. Nobody knows what it's going to be. All the punk things like cyberpunk, solar punk, wind punk, all the things like that, nobody knows what it's going to be. If someone has a background in Peggy 18 anime art, would it be difficult for them to enter other industry, or would it be better to create a separate portfolio? Create a separate portfolio. You can utilize that knowledge of anatomy and posing to do something, but create a separate portfolio. Definitely. I think that steampunk can be very generic because of the gears, but actually is more about visible mechanism, while sci-fi is more clean. Not everything is visible. Yeah. I'm not the biggest expert about steampunk. I just heavily recommend against that every time a mentee's advice tell me that they want to do steampunk. It's just there's no demand for that. There's only one Dishonored. It's not going anytime soon, even though I wish Dishonored was coming back. I hope there is a Dishonored 3 in the oven right now. But Dishonored is so weird. It's very esoteric. Everything is based on esotericism. Coming back on a second formula for not overdone project, you are basically saying pick a filmic book and do it with different historic settings or different set of rules. That tends to work very well. Fengzu was saying that too. Look at the video 106 getting a job. That's what he was saying. I wholeheartedly agree with that. When aiming for freelance job, is it really that important that your portfolio is super coherent, specialized? Depends on the studios you are aiming at. It's just that as a freelancer, you are more likely to aim at outsourcing studios, and outsourcing studios generally require you to be specialist. As always, look at the artists working at the studios you are aiming at. Look at their work. If they are specialists, accept the studio to want specialist. If they are generalists, expect the studio to want generalist. It's hard for me to apply for other companies. Yes. Is it acceptable to have a portfolio that is entirely 2D, well-designed, and features basic rendering color fields? Yes. I would advise anyone to do a bit of 3D. I'm not saying implement all the time 3D to your workflow, but do a bit of 3D just to be aware of the problematics when working with 3D. I like to not becoming a cultist regarding 2D versus 3D, I think ideally a smart artist will utilize the best and the most efficient of each combined. But again, it's at the intersection of what you are good at, what you like to do, and what the market needs. If you're extremely good at 2D to the point that it compensates for lack of 3D, that's okay. The other is rarer because they want to see fundamentals. 2D is becoming increasingly rarer, so it's somewhat valuable. She doesn't think so while maintaining traditional FZ design. Yeah, totally. There's a trend towards 3D, but okay. What do we see all the fucking time on our station? We see wannabe concept artists doing only 3D, skipping the fundamentals. They don't know how to draw, they don't know how to model, they are just keep bashing shit. It might be a trend, but it's not granting results. So there is no reason in copying that. Look at all the mentees who got hired. Look at the former FZD student who got hired. Look at a lot of concept artists, except the one working at OPB. They all know how to fucking draw. They all know how to fucking paint. They all know how to fucking photo bash. They all know how to do 3D. They utilize the best of everything. Careful about dark fantasy, because dark fantasy is a niche, and not every studio is doing dark fantasy either. Maybe just regular fantasy that can have some dark stuff, but also some colorful stuff might be a bit safer. You don't want to restrict yourself. It's always with like people who are like, hey, I want to do horror. Yeah, but how many horror studios are available right now? Not that many. Same with dark fantasy. Dark fantasy was a massive trend a few years ago with the Souls-like games. Now, besides Elden Ring, a few other games like Expedition 33, I would say it's not dark fantasy actually. There's not that many dark fantasy projects. Something we've maybe not saturated, it's not binary, but something that allows for variety. So you can have a part of your portfolio that is dark, but you do not have only that. And you're not shooting yourself in the foot or restricting your stuff. Does that make sense? It's not to crush your hopes. It's just to play it safe. It's just to play it safe. I will play the safety card as a starter, and when you get a job, then you can specialize. It's just that it's very risky to restrict yourself from the get-go because you never know. Here we go. Of a marathon from Bungie New Style, extremely strong and radical proposal. I have not seen that many things from it yet, besides the trailer. It's courageous, let's say. I hope it will remain readable in game, so I'm waiting for the game to be released. I'm going to play it for sure. I'm a big Bungie fan. I'm going to play it for sure. I think they're going to make it nice. They know to design shooters, but the style is very acidic. I think if you have a good OLED or mini LED monitor, it's going to be trippy. Let's say. Historical fantasy too specific? No, that's fine. Historical fantasy is good. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm such a big fan of the style of Destiny. I think it's still amongst the best art direction ever made, especially Destiny 2. But Marathon is going to be interesting. I'm less into the tech and cyberpunk and retrowave style, so it's less my jam. But let's see how it goes. How to target companies without copying trends? Don't you have to predict an announced product? No, you just check the precedent. You look at Larian Studio, they have a history of having done high fantasy CRPGs. It is to be expected that they probably keep up doing the same. You look at Ubisoft, they have been doing this and that franchises for the last 10 to 15 years. It is to be expected that the next opus of the saga is also going to come eventually. So it's more about assessing a global trend and a history and an average that they have been doing in the past rather than trying to predict the future. You will always have surprise, but that's also why you mix it with 5 or 6 studios to minimize the risk of being wrong on one of them. The country is not big on AAA. You're in the Philippines where the outsourcing market is big. It's more VFX, 3D, and animation. So I might aim for indies for now or a polishment for bigger companies. Aim at any companies that accept freelancers, because if you can access an international paycheck from the Philippines, you're going to live very well. Even $100 a day, which is nothing in France, is going to get you very, very comfortable in the Philippines. Like it's like a 2.2k euros a month in the Philippines. It's already, I think, pretty comfortable. It's nothing for international prices, but comparatively to what you will have working at a studio in the Philippines, I think that's way, way, way better. Next question. You can stay there for a few more minutes. My nose is starting to be a fountain again. Someone? Was global very below my expected salary. Yeah. So it's about negotiation. Sorry, let me clear up my nose. If they feel you are hungry, they're going to lowball you. I showed some videos on how to win against negotiation that trying to lowball you. So have a look at that on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it can happen. You need arguments. And the best argument is pointing out the bullshit of studios or the inconsistencies compared to what they say publicly. And the even best, it's easier said than done. It's to have options and to be already working this way. You have a ceiling. And if they want you, they have to give you more. Is 26 too late to start a concept like this? Fuck no. I know people who started at 45. Nobody gives a shit about the age. I started at 22. I got my first gig technically at 21, but my first real job at Ubisoft at 22. But I know some people who got their career started at 40, 45, 50 sometimes. Nobody gives a shit about your age. Yeah, if you were nervous during the interview, that might have been a window of opportunity for them to jump on you and beat you intellectually until you lowball your price. Because they know you're hungry, they know you need a job. The more they feel you need that job, the more they feel you are hungry, the more they're going to take advantage of that. This is why getting the first job is the hardest, because you don't have any arguments in your favor. The best moment to get jobs is when you already have jobs, because they cannot lowball you below a certain ceiling, otherwise you have no reason to work with them. I've been getting insulted so much on LinkedIn when saying that, like, guys, stop being one job away from being jobless. When you have a job, when your schedule is full, this is the best moment to apply to studios. This is the best moment to find opportunities because you are busy, you can afford to say no, you can try YOLO moonshot prices that are ludicrous and you can afford to lose the deal. You can afford to negotiate very aggressively. You can afford to turn down an offer. And if they want you, they have to pay you more than what you have. If you have no job, you have no ceiling, you have no safety, you're hungry, they're going to sense that. And in any negotiation, the one who loses is the one who needs the other the most. If they need you more than you need them, you're going to win. If you need them more than they need you, you are going to lose. I'll just say that other studios are giving you other offers, but they're going to sense if you are trying to bullshit them. With non-verbal communication, your attitude, the way you are speaking, the way you're reacting when they are giving you the price. You can be very good at pretending, but what is better than saying that is actually having those other offers. You want to increase your price, get another offer that is better than what you have. Get back to your boss and be like, hey, I got that offer. It's hard to ignore, but I want to stay with you guys. Can you at least get in tune with that? They're going to align with that. You get back to the other client. Hey, I got that offer at the same price. You're going to increase that. Being a good bluffer helps, but not having to bluff anymore is even more powerful, in my opinion. That's pretty risky. The thing like, hey, I got that offer, it's better. But at least you have an offer. You can afford to lose one or the other. Yep, you feel less pressure in finding work. What if tomorrow you get laid off? You have to search for jobs even when your schedule is full, because that's the best moment you can do it. If at some point you lose that job, it's going to be too late to find. You're going to take a lot of time to find a new one. But rather, I can just be maintenance. I'm not telling you to hustle 8 hours a day finding jobs, but just throw a few bottles at the ocean every week. You never know. Every time you land a new offer, thanks to a seed you planted a few months ago, you're going to be glad you did it. That's the problem. A lot of people who get a job, they feel less pressured, they relax, they disappear from the internet, they stop working on their portfolio, and just like the avatar, when they need it the most, it vanishes. And what vanishes is the fact that they exist on the internet and the fact that they get opportunities. What they need the most is when they lose their job, they have to get back to it, and you have to start back the momentum over and over and over again. It's way easier to keep up with the momentum. I know everyone wants to chillax and things like that. Pick your poison. Do you want to spend 30 minutes a week just to network a bit more and at least you can sleep peacefully? Or else you really want to chillax after work, and during all your job, there is that little voice in your head telling you, hey, if you lose that job, you're fucked. Jobs, it's like the avatar. When you need them the most, they vanish. When you don't give a shit about them, that's when they come. Very good. What do you think about marketing on LinkedIn versus very good portfolio? Is it better to network more with people and grand skills? Yeah. I mean, LinkedIn is fine. That's how you're going to contact people, but you're not going to do branding on LinkedIn. Nobody gives a shit about that. And yeah, LinkedIn Meta is to post me, but that's for me. I'm advertising the mentorship and my service to studios now. I'm not using the same meta as artist. I'm abiding by slightly different rules. I hope it doesn't sound arrogant. That's not the goal. But it's slightly different rules right there. So as an artist, what you want to do on LinkedIn or Facebook or social media is to connect with other artists. Slide in their DM, build rapport, build relationship, get mentored by them, apply feedback, get recommended by them. That's what you want to do. This is way more powerful than posting a feel-good woo-woo bullshit on LinkedIn. Awesome memes. Ideally, you do both. But the best way to get for a job is to cold email people. It's not to, how can I say? It's not to just post random shit on LinkedIn. Very good, Aerox. Yeah, LinkedIn is a piece of shit. That's why I'm posting memes. And that's why those memes are working, is because it's disruptive. When everyone does one thing and it's not working, and LinkedIn, everyone posting self-aggrandizing bullshit, they know it's not working. It's just the status quo, so everyone thinks it is what they need to do. But unless you are a piece of shit of an HR trying to score virtue points by saying you installed a ballpark in your office, you're not going to impress anyone else besides other HRs who also want to score virtue points. You're not going to land jobs by saying how good of a person you are on LinkedIn. You want to be just like on anything else. That this has been my battle with the portfolio and the things like that. It's just pattern recognition. Look at what everyone is doing. Is it working? If yes, do the same. If no, do the opposite. You look at the pattern of portfolios on ArtStation. Everyone doing Last of Us 2 fan art, keyframe only. Are they getting jobs? No. So let's not do it. Let's do what is missing. LinkedIn, all the ballpark HR bullshit, is it working? No. Let's do something else. Corporate talk is bullshit. Everyone hates that, and everyone is tired of pretending it's important. You want to succeed on LinkedIn, and I'm not a corporate marketing guru, but sometimes I do I do 500,000 impressions in a week sometimes. I shared a meme the other day, just that meme landed 300k impressions in less than a week. It was just a fucking meme about the artist before and after, with all those warjacks and things like that. You know why it works? It's because it's authentic. It's not filtered through the gulag censorship of political correctness of LinkedIn. It's authentic. It's just a meme. It's just meant to be funny, you know? And then the post is constructive. It's just meant to be fucking funny. Like, there's a saying in France that it's just, guys, just fart for a while. Just fart once to remove the pressure, you know? That's what I want to say to LinkedIn. Just fart, okay? Lower the pressure. Everyone is trying way too hard on LinkedIn. So when you are genuine, people like that. Everything is so fucking fake today at the age of Instagram filters, AI generated bullshit, LinkedIn corporate bros. The biggest branding you can have today is being authentic and genuine. That's why I'm swearing. That's why I'm burping. That's why I'm saying shit and fuck during those lives. That's because that's who I am. I'm not making my case a generality, but it's also what people are telling me when they come to the mentorship. It's like, we like your no-nonsense, blunt approach. It's not mean. It's just to cut the bullshit, you know? It's not helping. The age of toxic positivity is over. The age of yes man and Oprah Winfrey bullshit is over, you know? Be a fucking human. You are not helping anyone when their work is dog shit and you say, yeah, that's amazing, you should apply. No, you're not helping. You are sending someone to fucking hell. Saying their work is shit is not helping either. Okay, don't get me wrong. But you're not helping. You're sending them to hell with the false idea that they're going to make it. They're going to crash on the doors of the industry. They're going to not understand why it's going to drive them crazy and depressed. That's not helping. And way too many artists have been falling into this kind of corporate toxic positivity bullshit for way too long. And look at where we are now. Some people, after 3 years of layoff, are still like, what the hell is happening in the industry? Everyone acted like douchebags. Everyone acted so fucking toxic over the last years. You are emitting any kind of constructive criticism in public, you are labeled a bad person. It created an entire generation of people who never got reality checked in the face. And now that reality is hitting at the doors, And it's very nasty with the layoffs at the moment. People are not equipped to deal with that. Their entire perception of reality, the entire narrative that has been built for them over the last years regarding their level, is not matching with the reality. It's like a glitch in the matrix. And it's driving them crazy. It's getting people to quit. It's getting people to feel depressed, to entertain bad thoughts, just because of that lack of authenticity. So yeah, we need more people to fart. Let's have fun. Who said it had to be boring and corporate? Of course, you need to behave properly, like a proper human being, but let's be honest for a second, you know. What do you think is causing all this layoff in the game industry? Oh my god, this would need a 3-hour essay to explain that. Let me try to explain that in one sentence. Two, okay? Okay, let me try to explain that in 2 sentences. First sentence, what is in the interest of investors is not in the interest of the consumers. And 2, and studios want to please consumers. Ideally, you want studios to please consumer more than they please investor, because by pleasing consumer, you're going to make money on the more middle to long term. But investors, they only see the short term. That's the first part. It leads to the second problem, which is that a lot of fucking devs. Oh my god, I'm going to need a third sentence. A lot of fucking devs, they became hermetic to feedback because of that toxic positivity we mentioned before, and they started to antagonize the public and deliver work, product, and piece of entertainment that are out of touch with what their community wants. And it's not that the public is racist or whatever ist you want to add at the end of that word. It's just that they just compete in a free marketplace of ID. Their project is not echoing well with what the public wants. The public wants with the wallet, and devs don't understand why, because they've been living in an echo chamber for way too long. And last thing with the layoff is that studios overhired way too much post-COVID, and they started to develop way too much shit. And like any studio or any business in general, you want to cut the funds on things that are losing you money, and you want to focus on what makes you money. Are they laying off the excess in some sort? Yes. Yes. Now studios are shrinking a lot. They are being very protective, and they don't have as much money as before, at least for a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of the big titans like Ubisoft, EA, Blizzard, they lost a lot of money. They are very protective, and they know they have to deliver a massive banger. So they need to hire very competent people and to lay off anyone that is not reaching that standard. As cruel as it sounded, I'm not wishing anyone to lose their job. That's not what I said. It's just that they are in survival mode now. So it leads them to want to hire people that get it from the get-go and that are extremely, extremely sharp at what they do. That's why I'm putting so much importance on understanding the pipeline, understanding game design, understanding what the public wants, what the market wants, because you want relevancy, and you want that when they see your work, they are like, okay, this person knows what the job is about, and they know what makes money in that fucking industry. Okay. Is it a good idea to work full-time and freelance on the side? It's a discussion between you and you. I know that I cannot deal with 2 jobs at the same time. I tried 3 a few years ago. I burnt out. 2 is my absolute max, only for a few weeks or a few months. I tend to deal with 1 at the time, but to have options on the side in case I lose that opportunity or want to swap. But it's tough working full-time and freelance on the side unless you have nothing else to do. You're going to You're going to deal with a lot of hours of work. It's going to be very tiring. And it might impact your performance at one job or the other, if not both, which will make both clients unhappy and eventually lead you to make less money eventually. I'm all for quantity above quality. My bad. Quality above quantity. My bad. Sorry, I'm starting to brain fart a bit. Any final question? I have to go. I need to take like almost a cold shower. I'm feeling like I'm in an oven right now. Auto Matter also thinks you those doing a lot of different styles and genres. Pick one, commit to it. All right. I will have to go, folks. For anyone, as always, drop the like. We are at 40. We need to reach 70 right now. One more thing. Slots for the mentorship of April are open. I was supposed to increase the price. I did not. This is the final call before a definitive price increase. We got a fantastic class in March. Slots for April are starting to fill up, especially following IAMAG. We got a lot of demand following IAMAG. It's going to be amazing. What did I want to announce? Feedback for the... I got the fever. Feedback for the preparatory module coming next week. And for the mentees, I was supposed to do an IAMAG debrief tomorrow. I will postpone it to next week. I'm way too tired. I have not even read what you wrote, and you wrote a fuck ton of stuff. I will deal with the feedback a bit later today once the fever drop. Probably a bit tomorrow morning too. So that's it. Yeah, talk to you soon. I apologize for the Roots stream today with not the best sound, not the best webcam, not the best everything. Not the best state even for me. I'm sick. It's going to be better next time, I promise. Talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Bye.